This was probably one of the worst showings for an O-Rangers squad. If you're around a team like the Purple Rockets with such history the O-Rangers have, you're not in the right company.
Hey, I'm Levente. I'm from Hungary, and the team I support is the Savage Speeders.
Levente's not going to like this so much, but I actually think the Savage Speeders.
Oh, man. Going right at Levente.
I am. Sorry, Levente. Hold on.
The giveaway.
Hey, hold on. Drum roll, please. The giveaway winner is?
The giveaway winner.
It's the they get to select their own hoodie. Ladies and gentlemen, we're rolling at you live. And this year's Marble League field is set.
An eventful weekend, to say the least. Very eventful.
Yeah, we got a ton to get to. Big agenda here. We will announce our giveaway winner at some point during this episode, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll have some voicemails. We got an outpouring of voicemails.
Yeah, awesome response from all of our fans out there leaving some voicemails.
Yeah, can't wait to go through those. If you didn't get yours listened to on the show, make sure you keep submitting them, because we can only pick so many throughout every show. Where do you want to start here? Because this is, you know where we should start? Is the little bit of controversy that came out this week leading up to these qualifiers.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So everyone was under the impression we were going to have a showdown. There were 4 teams that were not going to be able to qualify for this year's Marble League in the Oceanics, Minty Maniacs, Blackjacks, and Purple Rockets. Then we got everything turned on its head, and Yella and the team released a statement that they were going to be not having a showdown this year, and every single team was now going to be up for qualification. Since that happened, they've retracted because there was a lot of negative feedback, thank you, on that happening. So there will be a showdown next year, but still those 4 teams are going to have their chance to qualify, got their chance to qualify, and we obviously know what happened at this point. But just what do you think? What was going on in your head throughout this chaotic week?
It was funny. I think you described it really well. We were both kind of upset at first. I think that first Instagram post came out maybe a couple hours before the next one. I can't remember exactly, but we were anger a little bit. We were both disappointed, but then pleasantly surprised. And I think if you're a fan of one of those 4 teams that obviously didn't really show up and perform well, but they got a chance. And that was kind of the bright spot. I also am pretty excited, not to go into it, but I'm pretty excited about the events they kind of laid out for the future too.
Right. So, but just to expand on it, it was a lot of things were impacted by these announcements because, like you said, these 4 teams got the chance to now try and qualify for the events, but they only had about 3 days to prepare because in their minds, they were waiting for the showdown. They were not going to be even having a chance to qualify here. So,
well, you bring up a good point because do you think Yelly, and it doesn't sound like him to let those guys know 3 days before the event. Do you think they had some further, previous notice? Because like you said, I mean, how do you prepare if you only have 3 days?
Right. It could have been previous notice, but I think the fact that they were being blessed with this opportunity was enough. Like any head start would have just been gravy on top. So to even have the chance to qualify was huge for them. And speaking of, I mean, we saw that 3 of the teams weren't able to make much of it, but the Blackjacks, they're in. I'm
a former fan of the Blackjacks.
They're in.
They are in. Really great to see them. We haven't seen them a lot. We haven't seen them since the summer. I remember being a fan of Ace back in MS100. A great sight. That's a team you can root for, especially as we'll get into some of our teams that didn't perform too well.
Right.
We'll be searching for a team to root for, and that's a really good candidate because I like the Blackjacks. Fun team.
I mean, so I guess, well, we can start recapping now, but Blackjacks were able to make a capitalization on that opportunity. But I just want to get your thoughts one more time. So the field, obviously, was going to be 12 teams to qualify out of 24. Now it became 12 teams out of 28. So that makes it extremely difficult now. Your chances went from 50% to 42 to get in.
Yeah, no, I thought it definitely had an impact. But as you just mentioned, 3 out of the 4 teams really didn't perform well, didn't qualify.
Right.
Is that a result of short notice? So, when I look at my list of excuses when I'm a Limer fan, I don't think that's high on the list just because we had all the time in the world to prepare. That's not one of the excuses I'm going to use.
I agree. And I think really the only team that might have a gripe, we can start going into qualifiers now. Let's do a little recap. Half of this episode is going to be recap. The next half is going to be looking forward to Marble League. But let's do a little recap. I think the one team that does have a gripe with what happened here is the Kobalts.
Absolutely.
Because we see that Blackjack is now in, and that spot was taken from Kobalts, who came in 13th, missed the cut line by 1 point. Let me read off just their finishes they had. I have them here somewhere. They were really, really good.
They're right up here if you need them too.
Oh, yeah. They had 3 top 10 finishes, and their other finish was a 13th. So they were top half of the field in every single event, and still missed out. That's the only team that I think has a major gripe here.
Yeah, they fell victim to the size of the field. I mean, again, like you said, 28 teams competing. Very hard to get in that top 12.
So tough.
You have to perform well. And, it looks like if we're going through this top 12 here, I want to say about half the field, probably more than half the field, got on the podium at some point in some event.
Yeah.
So kind of proves that you need to get on that podium. If you're not podiuming, you're consistently in the top 5 or top 10. So the Kobalts fell victim. Tough to see him go because, the way Cerulean was racing in Marbula 1, and then they came out and, did a hell of a job. So it's a shame to see them go.
100%. Before we get into our sad sacks and talking about our teams who missed out, let's give our flowers to Balls of Chaos and the foundational top level hierarchy change that they made in getting rid of their coach Harmony and bringing in Huan Rong.
I'm not going to say it.
Careful,
you can name him.
I'm going for the pronunciation, but clearly, I think we're going to do a sit down with Huan Rong next week because the turnaround that we've just seen is something like we haven't seen before. Balls of Chaos has always been a middling to lower pack team. We see them come in here and have three podiums, and I think a 5th place finish, and come first in qualifications. Like complete 180 turnaround. Huan Rong has these guys absolutely working hard for him.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect example of what a coaching change can do. I mean, it clearly injected something in these racers where they're all fired up, they're all excited. They were humming out there, and as Russ just said, 3 podiums out of 4. I want to say 4 top 5 finishes. It looks like just a really great display of racing, and really a great display by management. I mean, we really saw what a coaching change can do to a team and how it can lift them up. And first place in the qualifiers, they're a team to watch out for.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to mention.
Yeah, please.
If to transition.
No, please.
And this will appease some of the haters out there. I noticed that in the qualifier, who qualified, I believe 3 teams. Wolfpack, Blackjacks, and Solar Flares. Well, those are bottom, like our 32nd, 31st, and 30th team.
I think Turtle Sliders was somewhere in there, but it was like from 28 to 32.
They were definitely like the last ranked teams we put. So clearly those teams have our podcast playing in the locker room.
Yeah.
Because they all qualified. And we look like big idiots a little bit.
We also said it ourselves, though, last week. At least, I wanted to see a Cinderella. Like, it would be really fun. Like, since Crazy Cat's Eyes just won Marbula 1, and it seems to be a league dominated by these high achieving teams. Now we have a lot of opportunity here with a lot of these teams to see a Cinderella potentially rise to the top and a new team to capture a Marbula League title.
Absolutely. This is a circumstance where I'm really happy that we're wrong. Because like we said before, like a Blackjacks is a team I'll root for. Solar Flare is another team that, we're gonna talk about and probably root for, especially with our teams out. So I just found that interesting and kind of funny at the same time.
Let me expand on it. So last year, 2023, we have 8 new teams in 2024 than we did from last year's Marbula 1. So half the field is going to be new. Of the 12 spots to take, 8 of them got taken by new marbles. So we got Balls of Chaos, Wolfpack, Chocolatiers, Green Ducks, Hazers, Blackjacks, Solar Flares, Jungle Jumpers, all going to be new teams to the field this year.
I mean, great for those fan bases.
Yeah.
A team, I'll talk about the Solar Flares, a newer team we talked about a little bit. Didn't give them much respect. They're going to have a big opportunity to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting. That's what's so great about Marble League.
100%. Like one team, somebody's going to make a run here. One of these teams is going to have to make a play and become a top 3 marble, and it's going to be really fun to watch.
I just pray, and I'm praying to whatever Lord you have. Crazy Cat's Eyes is not on that podium.
But I think most people have to be.
I mean, I am begging.
I mean, we saw Crazy Cat's Eyes. Let's go into this half-pipe event. They set a world record, and they're not even fighting for qualifiers.
Oh, man.
35 seconds on the half-pipe. We didn't see another marble get past 32.5, I think.
Was that Blue Eye? I don't even.
It was, so the half-pipe was all the marbles. Yeah. All of them were
I know. I try to blank it out of my mind. Yeah. It's just complete dominance. It's almost frustrating watching them. Again, I don't think they're a toxic. We said they're toxic a couple weeks ago. Yeah. It's almost just like I'm toxic about them being so good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're projecting toxicity onto them.
Exactly.
It's our toxicity.
Just a dominant performance. Shout out Norman. But sorry, yeah, it's just I don't know. I just don't even want to. It's just frustrating. They're so good. Somebody beat them, please.
We'll get into the events themselves in a minute, but let's expound on our teams. Rangers and Limers.
Can I give one team their flowers quickly?
100%.
To keep it positive until we go really sad. We need to acknowledge the Green Ducks. We have to.
Yeah.
I saw Mallard racing well. I mean, we've given a lot of slack to the Green Ducks over the past month, I would say.
Yeah.
They're a team that totally bounced back, third place in the qualifier, 2 golds. We have to give them their flowers because it was a heck of a performance after a terrible Marbella 1.
100% shows so much character to be able to bounce back after that tough loss, and clearly it motivated them. We said it could have gone 2 ways, could have devastated them or motivated them. We're seeing the motivation. Third place, a gold medal in qualification, really good results throughout the board. Really happy to see them in there, and I hope they can do well.
Yeah, another team, like I have no problem rooting for them. They're a team that I want to see do well. And again, it's a lot of these teams are like fun teams to watch. And then I look on the right side, and that's the Crazy Cat's Eyes. So it's really just Crazy Cat's Eyes against the world at this point.
100%.
But, I want to give them their flowers. Heck of a job by that team and the coaching staff, and really excited to see them in Marble League.
We'll get into our preview in a bit, but I just want to get your opinion. What would you be betting on, Crazy Cat's Eyes or the field?
Oh, man, that is a great question. I would love to see the odds. At this point, I would take Crazy Cat's Eyes.
It's hard not to.
After this qualifier,
yeah,
you're talking world records, complete dominance, whatever the word you want to use. I don't see a world where you can bet against the Crazy Cat's Eyes.
Yeah.
I just don't. I just think they're racing too well. Doesn't matter if it's red eye, yellow eye, blue eye. It doesn't matter. They're just good.
Yeah.
So I would take them. What about you?
I think I would take the field mostly probably for hopefulness more so than realistic.
Sure.
But that's just what I would go for. Now let's get into some negative. Let's get down to the unqualified teams. Talk about some of the storylines down here. I'll start with our Rangers. It's, you know what, I didn't expect this. I was hopeful. We've never missed a Marble League. Neither had Mellow Yellow, so I'll kind of rope both these teams in. Neither had ever missed a Marble League. The O-Rangers came out and they put up they never broke 20th in any of these qualifying events. It's kind of a dead franchise right now where we really need a spark, and I think some changes might have to be made, like we saw with Balls of Chaos.
Really? You think so? Is it a little too premature, or is the standard so high?
It's been too long. The standard's high, but it's also the standard's high, but the standard's not even close to being met at this point. It's not even mid anymore. It's just poor. If we're going to be okay with these top half finishes in events like Marbula 1 and Marble Survival 100, then that's not good enough for any team. It shouldn't be anybody's expectation. We just had a little camera issue, but we're trying to persevere through these camera issues these days.
Stuff happens. Yeah. Stuff happens. I think where we left off before the camera died is O-Rangers and the standard they're held to. What I was saying is I really think they're like the New York Yankees. The expectation, if you don't win, you failed.
Right.
And I think that's the expectation for the O-Rangers. Having said that, I do agree that this was probably one of the worst showings for an O-Rangers squad. If you're around a team like the Purple Rockets with such history the O-Rangers have, you're not in the right company.
Yeah.
So obviously upsetting for your squad. To your point, I don't know where you turn. Maybe it's major change.
Well, I think there's only so much you can say. You can keep saying, "Oh, the standard is high. The standard is high." If you're not, this is our first time not qualifying for Marble League. This should be a cry for help. This is a statement here that something needs to change.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens going into the showdown and going forward into next year. But I'm expecting and hoping to see some big changes, at least in the coaching staff, maybe even in the racers. But we'll see going forward. That's enough O-Rangers talk. Let's get into your limers because just to recap, not a horrible campaign, honestly. All mid-pack finishes. All their finishes were between 12th and 18th. So it's really not horrible, but just not good enough. It's limer ball a little bit.
Yeah, I mean
mid-pack limer ball.
I don't know. I think this was pretty definitional, if that's a word, of what the limers are, and they're just mid. They're mid to below mid. Really upsetting event 4. I believe that was a short track. We had a shot there. I got some excitement in me. I believe we were at 12th. We were right around that qualifying line, and then just didn't show up for event 4. Just upsetting. I don't think it's major change for the limers. I don't see that.
I don't think so either. Got to give it time.
At this point, I don't know if I'm expecting anything more than what just happened. It's hard to get a little bit excited. I think, MS100, we performed well, but it's tough. It's tough. And I think, the 28 pack field had an impact for sure.
Definitely.
But at no point did I think we were going to qualify, and that's sad to say out loud. I just didn't have confidence.
It is. I mean, especially when you start the way you started, which I think was a 16th or 18th place. It's right there, but I don't know. It's just when you see a mid finish, you're going to expect midness out of a mid team.
Yeah, it's mid. I hate to use that word over and over again, but we're mid and we didn't qualify. So I will be hopping on some bandwagon. I
Yeah,
don't know what yet.
I think
but we'll
when
talk
we
about it.
do our in a couple minutes when we do our Marble League preview, we should just like pick a team
Yeah.
and ride them.
No, absolutely. Won't be the crazy count size, that's for sure.
One other team I just want to talk about. We're a Team Primary podcast.
Oh man,
There's some serious internal issues in this franchise.
I mean, it's to the point where we fire. The alarm sounds.
Yeah,
we're,
the panic
buttons.
smacked.
It's been smacked.
It's not even functioning anymore.
Where do we go? Where do we go if we're a Team Primary fan? If we're part of that Team Primary franchise, we're obviously a podcast of Team Primary. I don't know where they go. At this point, it might be a fire sale. It really might be.
Yeah.
Let's get
Break
to the minor
everything
leagues. Let's get some of these younger marbles in here, and see what happens, because this is not acceptable for Team Primary.
It's not. It's MS 100 had a good run, and then maybe they just hung their hats on that and decided, okay, that's enough for the season, enough for the year. We're good.
Yeah, and it really event one. I believe they came in last, a 0-point finish.
Yeah.
You really just started off hot, Team Primary, and you didn't get any hotter. I mean, you just went right down on the tubes. Upsetting if you're a Team Primary fan. Again, I think we sound the alarms. I think major changes coming for them.
Yep.
And we'll see in the new year. I mean, now's the time to do it. We got a lot of off time. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So just right before we move into the events, what your biggest surprise to miss?
My biggest surprise to miss. That's a good question. I didn't. The O Rangers was a surprise how poorly they did.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't qualify, I expected them to be around 12, 13, 14 at the worst.
Yeah.
And seeing them at 25th, really didn't have a chance from video one, part one of the series. I just didn't think they even had a chance.
Yeah.
That surprised me. I thought we were going to get a better, effort out of the O Rangers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously I'm disappointed with the O Rangers, but Mellow Yellow, a team that I briefly touched on, had never missed a Marble League, has done so well in previous Marble Leagues, always been around, always been competing. 20th place, not really even particularly close. It's kind of weird and going to be sad to see them out, but it's going to make some room for some younger teams.
Yeah.
And then the other team, just one that I'm sad about, is Turtle Sliders. I would really like to see them in there. I had high hopes for them going in. I was ready to announce myself as a Turtle Sliders fan, but
not this year.
Next year, perhaps.
We do have to touch on one thing, and I guess I'm continuing with the toxicity on this podcast.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that Oceanics squad.
Yeah.
And the meltdown they had in event 3 and 4. Was this? We talked about short notice, and that's a marble that had this short notice. We didn't think that we were going to see them.
Right.
Is this a result of maybe just lack of training? Maybe they ran out of gas.
I think it has to be.
It looks like they just ran out of gas.
It absolutely has to be. They were a quality marble all year. They won MS 100. They had a top 10 finish in M1.
Mm-hmm.
Probably thought they had a little bit longer than they had to sit on their couch and fatten up before Showdown. They get the notice a week before that they have to compete. They come out in the first two events, unbelievable finishes. They look as electric as ever, but they got to be a little gassed. They haven't been in the gym, and then they have to hop right on the short track, a demanding event.
Yeah.
And what was the one before that? I think it was
5-meter dash was the first.
The snow push.
Yeah.
It's just these events are demanding, and for them to have to go through 4 of them in quick succession, that has to be the reason.
Yeah. I was a little worried there after video 1, after part 1, first 2 events. I was a little concerned. I said, wow, I didn't want snow drag. I didn't expect the Oceanics even to be here. And then I saw them above my limers in the qualification field.
Yeah.
I was very angry. I'm not going to lie. To see them falter, obviously sad, but the toxic person in me is kind of happy because I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some fans out there that are a little angry the Blackjacks are there.
I think there has to be.
There's got to be some people that, do the Blackjacks deserve to qualify?
Did they take your spot?
Is that fair, I guess?
Right. Especially Kobalts fans. I'd love to hear some next week voicemails about Kobalts fans a little bit upset over this, because I would be.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Team Plasma fan. They missed it by a couple
right. They
points
could have been in there as well.
I guess I'm a fan of half the field. But yeah, no, that'll be interesting to see if people have some anger towards the Blackjacks. Is this a team that people kind of, yell at or get angry at
right.
as they continue to do well, which personally, I hope they do.
Definitely something to look out for. I mean, I kind of am. I would have liked to see Kobalts in there. Cerulean is electric. We want to see him keep competing.
Absolutely.
All right. Right before we get to the Marble League preview, just like a quick preview of our picks and everything. just rank these events that we just saw. What do you think about?
Do you have the list of them? Because
yes, snow drag,
the
half pipe, short track, 5 meter.
Rank them. I mean, I think we can both agree there was one event that probably was a little slower.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Agreed.
I enjoyed the short track. I think 5 meter and short track are 1 and 2.
Agreed. Agreed. And then snow drag over half pipe in my eyes.
I mean, yeah, they
half pipe was just a little slow.
They were both slow. Yeah, I'd probably put half pipe at the last one there.
Yeah,
that was a little slower. I'll go with that.
I really liked 5 meter, especially because for some reason they didn't really put like a cushion at the end of the race. They put like a springboard.
They were flying.
And we saw some. It was a little dangerous. We saw limers fly out of there.
They were flying out of there.
We saw some marbles.
If you were in like row 1 to 10, you were in the splash zone. Those marbles, those fans were like in danger.
Yeah, it was like courtside seats.
I mean, we joke around, but hopefully all those marbles are all right. It looks like they're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we should invest in some cushioning, something.
Yeah, just not a springboard at the end of there.
It was a little chaos. It was exciting to watch. We just
hope,
hopefully the health and safety of the marbles is ensured.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I thought the events, there was some excitement. There was a little slowness. I don't want to call it boring, but it was just a little slow at times. But also action packed in the fact we had those changes in the leaderboard. We had those marbles flying out of the track. We definitely had our fair share of excitement. So overall, I think it was a really good qualifier. And obviously, I'm really excited for Marble League.
Yeah. Me too. Fired up. Let's. Should we do our voicemails before we get into our Marble League preview?
Yeah, why not? Let's break it up a little bit.
Because I think there are probably gonna be people talking about the qualifiers. We can talk about that, and if there are any looking forward questions, we'll hit those as well.
Yeah, we touched on it in the beginning of the podcast, but awesome response on the voicemails. Something Russ and I think it was one of our better ideas. I don't know who came up with it, me or you. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I love it. I love listening to them. I think it brings some questions that we don't really think about.
For sure.
So really cool stuff. Let's get into the first one. I believe it's Ben H.
Yeah.
Ben H.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
All right, y'all. I want you to give me one team each that you think is going to come out of nowhere and shock the world this Marble League.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. You want to take it?
I love that question. It's just nice and simple. We did touch a little bit on it. Coming out of nowhere. I mean, if you have one in mind, rip it. But I have an answer.
I do too.
I'm not sure if it technically qualifies because I'm gonna go with the Balls of Chaos. I don't know if I think they've already come out of nowhere now and taken first in qualification. But that's a team that I think can now push and make a deep run. We've just shown that they can beat 28 other marbles in close competition. So I have my eye on them to actually make a deep run. I don't think this is a fluke here.
I like that answer. I'm going to go with the Solar Flares.
Love it.
I think, and again, people will attack me in the comments if I'm wrong. Is this their first Marble League they qualified for?
Yeah.
I know they're a newer franchise. I believe they've had minimal success in Showdown the past 2 years. But a team that it's uncharted waters for them.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of looking for them to make a little Cinderella run here. And I could be getting behind them. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But
I love that.
I like the Solar Flares.
Oh yeah. That's a great pick, and maybe like probably one of the biggest underdogs coming in here.
I would say them, maybe the Blackjacks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple,
yeah,
but
like we said,
they're definitely one
teams.
of them. We ranked them, I think, 31st. So.
Yeah. So thank you, Ben. Great question.
The next one here, is it Reese?
Reese?
Wait,
just gotta slide up a little bit. This is the Reese one.
All right, we're gonna let this one go.
All right,
Reese.
Hello, this is Reese. You may know me from a couple days before the Marble League qualifiers, but now this is after the qualifiers, and I just wanted to say, I thought the qualifiers were a little bit rigged. Like, only 12 teams out of the 28 competing made it. I mean, I know it's the Marble League, but, like, I feel like the relegated teams should have just stayed relegated because they brought back the Showdown. I don't know. Let me your thoughts and opinions. Do you think the Showdown do you think the qualifiers was rigged or not? And yeah,
so
thank you.
Thank you, Reese. I think he's confusing the word rigged for unfair, maybe, because I don't think it was rigged. I do think, however, it got a little bit more daunting and scarier for these marbles to have to qualify out of 28 marbles instead of 24.
I think I agree with you. I think this is a common narrative that I see in the comments
for sure.
all over. I do not think it was rigged.
No.
Do you have an argument that it was a little unfair that those 4 teams were in the qualifier. I think you do. At the same time, though, it's, besides the Blackjacks, it's not like those teams are coming in and killing everybody and had an unfair advantage. I think if you were good enough, you would qualify. And I don't think that's a good excuse to use. I understand his frustration. It's not rigged. Show up and race and qualify.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Show up and race and qualify. In fact, I was a little excited to see those teams come back in and just see this big field and who was going to kind of rise to the top from it. But definitely, especially when they reinstated the Showdown, I thought maybe let's go back and put those. But then you're doing flip flop, and it's tough to put that strain on those teams. So
yeah, I honestly, I think change is hard.
Yeah.
I wasn't in love with what they did, but at the same time, there's not an excuse.
No,
there's no excuse.
Yeah.
But good question though.
Great
I
question.
like it. Leventi.
Let's hear.
Our next voicemail.
Hey, I'm Levente. I'm from Hungary, and the team I support is the Savage Speeders. And I have some questions for you. What are your top 3 finishers in the Marble League? Who are your dark horses? And what's the Marble team that's going to crash out of the Marble League? What I mean by that is finish very low. And
All right,
who are
maybe we
your
won't do our
favorites
top
to
3.
win?
Yeah.
I'm
What-
excited to hear.
Or maybe we should do our top 3 and a dark horse. Well, we just kind of gave our dark horse.
Yeah.
Balls of Chaos,
I was
Solar Flares.
Yeah, I was thinking more what he finished with crash out. I guess that means
Yeah, you know what,
fail.
I like that.
It seems like a word with the kids. Crash out. It's very popular. A team that I think would crash out or falter. Well, this sounds like it was before the qualifiers, but I think the O Rangers is a good victim of crashing out. If we're talking,
I think he's talking Marble League.
In
I
the
think he's
Marble
talking
League,
in the league.
Well, the qualifiers, I think I'm going to go out your O Rangers. That's for the
Okay,
qualifiers.
that's
They
fine.
crashed out.
Fine, yeah. Unnecessary shots.
For the Marble League. That's a good question. I don't. Do you have a good answer?
I have one that I'm thinking of, and Levente's not going to like this so much, but I actually think the Savage Speeders.
Oh man, going right at Levente.
I am sorry, Levente. Also, thank you for calling in all the way from Hungary.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty cool.
We love to see the pod going worldwide. But sorry, your Savage Speeders are not going to podium in this tournament.
Wow, why do you say that?
They obviously we saw their comeback in Marble 1, but they're slipping. They're slipping from this greatness that they had. Obviously, they came in 3rd in last year's Marble League. I think they're getting a little older. Most of their success in Marble League has come in the past. I see them crashing out from this top 3. I think they actually finish bottom 4.
Interesting. Wow. I like it. I think it's bold. I don't know. I'm struggling, Avente. I'm struggling to find a good answer. I'm looking at these teams like I'm rooting for the Green Ducks. I'm rooting for the Blackjacks. Maybe Momo, but I really don't have any good reasoning behind that. I'm not a huge fan of Momo.
Okay.
I don't really understand what he's saying half the time in the press conferences. So I don't really love that answer, but I'll go with Momo as just, my answer there.
Okay, I like that answer, especially because Momo is a solid marble. That's a marble that you usually find mid to upper table. So yeah. I think a bottom 3 would be a crash out for them.
Yeah, so we'll go with that. Again, thank you for the voicemail.
Yeah, thanks.
All the way from Hungary.
Yeah, wow.
Awesome to see. Anthony, I think our final voicemail. A little longer, but a good one.
Hey, this is Anthony from China Grove, North Carolina. I just wanted to say I think the coach of the Rangers, Rango, should be fired. Dude has one podium in Marble League 2020 where he choked away a 35-point lead to get second place. I know he's, 3 out of 4 podiums in his last Marbula 1 seasons, but this last season was a masterclass of mediocrity, and following it up with a no-show for the Marbula League is embarrassing. I love Clementon and Mandarin, and I think they're future Hall of Famers, but I think that they're being held back right now. I think they should fire Rango. I think Mandarin should probably be promoted from manager to coach, and we need to get some new racers in there because this is looking abysmal. There should be a standard.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah, I found myself nodding my head along to Anthony's to comments there.
It sounded like a little like your monologue in the beginning about the Rangers.
It did, and I'll just echo what he has to say. I think it's time for a shakeup. After this pathetic qualification, after a mediocre masterclass of mediocrity, I believe is what Anthony said. I think it's time to make some changes, whether it's coach, player. I think we should try coach first. We don't want to get rid of our Hall of Fame players, as he said. So try coaching change. If that doesn't work, blow it all up.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you guys, and I know we're going to hear Rangers fans in the comments. It's definitely a big fan base. I think you guys are a little emotional right now. I think Rangers fans need to take a deep breath.
Wow.
Anthony said it. 3 out of 4 podiums in Marbella 1 last 3 years. Is that what he said?
Something like that.
I think we got to calm down a little bit. I really do. I think obviously this is not what you guys want. The expectation's a lot higher. I understand that. Let's slow down a little bit. Let's slow down before we make crazy change. Let's take some time to evaluate if you're no Rangers fan, and then maybe a move. But I don't think we should immediately go and fire Rango, promote Mandarin. I think we got to calm down a little bit if we're no Rangers fans or a part of the squad. So that's my opinion. But I get it. Be mad, Rangers fans. Not acceptable.
Not acceptable. Thank you for that other perspective, because I think it's very big to have.
Yeah, I think he speaks for a lot of fans.
I think so too. And like we said, sorry if you didn't get played this week. There was like a handful of voicemails that didn't, but we couldn't go through all of them. It was just would have been a little too long. Some of them were repetitive. But thank you everyone for calling in. Please keep calling in.
Yeah, if we didn't play your voicemail this week, send us another one and we'll definitely get to you.
Yeah.
We have a lot of voicemails, but this is something we can probably do every podcast. We like it.
100%.
So, good questions from everybody. So thank you.
All right. Let's transition into just a little bit of a preview of especially our first event that we have coming up, which is Halfpipe and Marble League as a whole. Obviously, both our teams are out. So do you want to – should we start with picking our fan, a team that we're going to be a fan of for this event?
I like that. Are we going to we'll pick a team we're fans of and a winner? Is that how we're going to do this?
Well, so I was thinking what we might do is tier the marbles.
Okay.
Contenders, dark horses, hopefuls.
Okay.
Happy to be here.
I like that. I think there's some candidates for all 3 of those tiers.
I think so too.
Let's go with the team we're being a fan of.
Okay.
Our fandom.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
I'm having a little bit. Oh, no, I have mine locked up.
Let's go.
All right. Chocolatiers.
Bon.
Always a classic. So it's just a fun team to root for.
Awesome.
It's like it just reminds you of the Cleveland Browns. Lovable.
Yeah.
Brown team. And to see them come in 5th in qualifiers was a shock. One team that I definitely did not have on my big board. So really happy to see them there. Really going to be pulling for them to make some upsets in this Marble League.
I like it. It's funny because this group is like a lot of likable marbles.
It is. It's a lot of underdogs.
I mean, I see Crazy Cats as it. I don't want to see them, but like no Oceanics in here. A lot of likable marbles. A team I'll be a fan of. I'm going with the Cinderella. I'm going with those Solar Flares. I really think they should pause.
All right, one more camera cutout. It's all right. We're powering through.
So just to recap, I'm a Solar Flares fan, and you're going to go with
Chocolatiers.
So
that's who we're rooting for. Now let's just do a quick little tiering. So who are the elite marbles? The cream of the crop. Obviously, Crazy Cat's Eyes.
Got to.
I think that's easy to put in there. We'll mark that one down.
I think we're going to put the Glaciers in there just because they're home.
No way.
No,
way.
really?
Glen Glaciers are hopefuls.
Wow, really?
Absolutely. The last year in Marble League, they came in like 14th.
I know.
Haven't done anything.
I mean, it's their home. They got the sponsorship by Mint Mobile. I mean,
that's true, but it's not.
The fans were rocking.
Fans are rocking. I might be willing to put them in contenders. I might be willing to put them in contenders, but elite is tough. I think the only 2 that really can go in elite are Crazy Cat's Eyes and Savage Speeders. I know I said Savage Speeders I'm expecting not as greatness from, but you got to put them in the elite category.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That was the other one I had. Looking down this list, I mean, Balls of Chaos just recently obviously had a great event here, so I don't know if we're ready to put them in great qualifier. The Snowballs have been racing really, really well.
What do you think about putting Green Ducks in elite or in elite?
Again, like right after their blow up in Marbella 1. I mean, I'm a little.
You're right. I think we should keep
elite.
We should keep it as the 2-team elite.
Yeah,
Crazy Cats Eyes, Savage Speeders. Contenders, there's going to be a few.
There's definitely a few.
Give me one.
I think Snowballs has got to be in there.
Okay, I could agree. Snowballs is a contender for sure. I think Bumblebees is a contender.
I wasn't really pleased with them, but we'll throw them in there. I think that's very generous.
All right, I think they're a contender. Who else we got in contenders here?
Definitely the Green Ducks.
Yep,
right?
Green Ducks.
You got to throw the Green Ducks in
contenders.
There. Going down this list, I mean, obviously we're
Raspberry
going 2, 3,
Racers.
4. Yeah, I could see that. I think you got to put the Hazers there too.
Hazers and contenders.
I think so.
After that bronze
I think so. That's the next one.
After the silver, actually.
Are we putting the Glaciers in there?
No.
We're not giving the Glaciers love.
I think that's all we can do there.
No, that might be my new fandom. That might be my new
I'm
team.
I'm kind of a Gliding Glaciers fan too, but I'm not ready to put them in contenders. I think they're a hopeful. I think they're a team with a long shot who could be boosted by their crowd. I think that's the definition of a hopeful.
I don't know if I want to say long shot, but
we only have 2 tiers left here. We got hopefuls and we got just happy to be here.
Okay. All right, fine. We're going to hopefuls.
Okay, hopefuls, we got Gliding Glaciers.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Bumblebee's blowing there too, but that's
no
fine.
way.
We said Raspberry Racers.
Balls of Chaos is probably in a hopeful.
Yeah. Chocolatiers, I would put as probably a hopeful.
They might just be happy to be here.
I don't know. I mean, they're always hanging around the fifth place in qualifiers. That's nothing to bat the eye about.
You're right.
And I think maybe Momo. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Momo. The Galactic, probably not. Jumpers, no. I think that's about it for hopefuls there.
So we go into our just happy to be here, and we got who do we got?
The Blackjacks,
Wolfpack,
Flares, Jumpers, and Galactic.
Yeah. Galactic should be higher.
Galactic's on the border. I thought that, but I don't know.
I'm down to put Galactic and just happy to be here. I don't really know. I mean, they've had sustained success in Marble League, but I'm ready to put them there.
Yeah, a team, before we move on, a team that we haven't given much love to is the Wolfpack.
Yeah.
We've definitely noticed their fandom. Their fan base is stronger than we thought.
It is.
A team we didn't really talk about. So tell us, are they happy to be here?
Yeah,
or
are they leave a voicemail if you're a Wolfpack.
Yeah, we didn't show Wolfpack much love, so I'm curious to see if they prove us wrong. This podcast might be playing in their locker room as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for them too. It's a team. I just want to see one of these Cinderellas. So
anybody but CCE, please.
All right. Well, I mean, that's a good tiering. I like that tier list. Yeah. A little bit concerned about Team Galactic. I think they might be listening to this in the locker room as well. But let's just go quick preview of the Halfpipe this week. Who's a team that you think can excel in this, and who's a team that you might be surprised doesn't do as well as you think?
Bumblebees. They will not be performing well.
Okay.
I just didn't like what I saw. We just voiced it. I think they're probably a hopeful, but that's a team I don't see performing well. That's kind of going to be a little bit of a shock after auto qualifying.
I'm going to go crazy here and say Crazy Cat's Eyes.
Oh, man.
They just set a record for the event in the qualifiers. I maybe it's all hopeful here. Oh, the camera's going to die in a second, but it's fine. We'll just go. Let's wrap up. No, we can't wrap up because we got to do our giveaway winner.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy Cat's Eyes. I just think they're a heavy marble and they're going to roll too fast down the track, and I think that's what that's going to be. That's our preview for the Halfpipe. Let's do our giveaway winner right now.
All right.
Hold on.
The giveaway.
Hey, hold on. Drum roll, please. The giveaway winner is?
The giveaway winner.
They get to select their own hoodie.
00 Yellowfish. Congratulations.
We really loved your story. Thank you for the compliments as well. So we'll be reaching out to you to see what you want to select from the Yellow store. Yeah. Again, thank you to everybody who participated in the giveaway. If it were up to us and we had a lot of money, we would give everybody in the comments sweatshirts. Yeah, it was really hard to pick. There's so many good comments. Yeah. So let's we're gonna do this again. Hopefully when we reach another milestone. So keep subscribing, keep commenting, and tune in. But congratulations to Yellowfish. Absolutely, Yellowfish, big winner. We'll be reaching out, but start thinking about what you might want. Yeah. Not the whole store, though. But, yeah, congrats to him. All right, guys, let's get ready for this. Guys, girls, and marbles, let's get ready for this good, amazing event we have coming up right now. Pretty excited for it. And here we go. Let's go Solar Flares. Solar Flares, and let's go Chocolatiers. We're rolling out, but we will see you guys next either Tuesday or Wednesday. Sorry, I should have mentioned. We're kind of releasing on a different day now. We're trying to figure out what the best day and time is. So be ready to just look for our videos. Stay subscribed. Yeah. And just tune in. Turn those notification bells on. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Flare up. Flare up, chocolate down. Rolling out. Peace.